welcome to another episode of Fanatics Frenzy. And of course, it's your boy over here, Dennis. It's good to see everybody. And of course, today I'm going solo. I'm going to get a little bit into the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, what that looks like for the NFC East and in the NFL. Is that an indictment on the Dallas Cowboys? And then also I'll get into some Dallas Mavericks troubles, after the Luka trade. But of course, as always, rate and review us. Tell us what we're doing well, what we're not doing well. Make sure you catch all the previous episodes. We have a bunch of content outside right now or out. Even now we're on TikTok. So, find us on TikTok and, holla at your boy and tell us what we're doing well. Of course, we always love to hear what, you guys' opinions are and all that kind of stuff. But I'm happy to be here today. I'm excited. I've thought long and hard about this information that I'm going to, let out today. So let's see what happens, The first thing I'm going to get into is, on last Sunday, the Eagles, beat the Chiefs 40-22, in the Super Bowl 60 at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. And it was a beat down, man. It was a classic beat down. It was, 24-0 at halftime. Probably one of the most dominant performances I have ever seen from a defense in a long time. Maybe the closest one you could talk about was Denver Broncos, Super Bowl that they won with Peyton Manning, his last one. The one Von Miller won the MVP was, equally as dominant. But this was crazy, I mean, the Eagles defense and Vic Fangio had Mahomes looking like, a rookie, or Mahomes was seeing ghosts, point blank. He was seeing ghosts. But, getting a little bit into the defense, they had 6 sacks, 2 fumbles, 1 that they recovered, 2 interceptions, 1 for a pick six. And, if you watch the game, I think for most people, when Eagles went up, I think 17-0, and Mahomes and the Chiefs kept going 3 and out, you could see that for most people in their minds, they were like, well, yeah, this game is kind of over. Because it wasn't like Mahomes and the Chiefs were playing decent or even good and they were being unlucky. They just were going 3 and out. And if it wasn't 3 and out, it was either, an interception or Mahomes threw a pick six to Cooper DeJean, or it was just another interception that was putting the Eagles, offense on short fields. And that was just an impressive, performance by the Eagles, defense just overall. We're going to put that there. Impressive performance by the Eagles. And if you have been following along with the podcast and been listening, you could know I'm one of the biggest critic of Philly, just because they're in the NFC East and, that rivalry between them and the Cowboys, I don't want them to do well. But listen, I'm a fair guy. I'm a fair man. And if somebody is doing something great, you have to acknowledge that. And that's what the Eagles were great on Super Bowl 60. That's what the Eagles were. They were great. And one person that I would like to give, the flowers to them was Jalen Hurts. Because, maybe not a lot of you might not know, but my friends that know me, that I have a lot of off-camera discussions with or argument with, I always put Dak above Jalen Hurts just because I thought, which I think I still do think Dak is a better quarterback overall, or a better, pocket passer and all that kind of stuff. But Jalen Hurts on Super Bowl 60 was great. Hey, he was great. He was 17 out of 22, completed 77% of his passes. two passing touchdowns. That bomb to Devontae the bomb to what do you call it, Devontae Smith, and he just stepped out, or they started the game and he was ready to pass. And the biggest talking point on TV and everything was the Chiefs were going to force Jalen Hurts to beat them. They're going to force him in obvious passing situations where he has to pass the ball. And, previously he's not been able to do that to an extent. He can pass because AJ Brown did have 1,000-yard, 1,000-yard season. So it's not like the guy can pass. He can pass. But everybody thought that, the Chiefs or, Spag was going to put Jalen Hurts in obvious passing scenarios because they were tackling. Because, Saquon Barkley did not really have a great game. He had an okay game. The Chiefs could tackle him and he wasn't breaking tackles and all of that. So he had an okay game in the Super Bowl. But Jalen Hurts, as he won the MVP, as deservedly so, was excellent. He was excellent in that game. And you could see he was locked in and he was, ready to work. And he did. I mean, he did have one interception, which was pretty ugly, I think, in the first half. And it's because he just saw pressure in his face and he just kind of launched that ball out, and it was short. I mean, AJ Brown had no chance, against McDuffie to even get that ball. Was at least, 5 to 10 yards short of the end zone when it was intercepted, and AJ Brown was on all of them. AJ Brown was already in the end zone, but that was like the one big mistake you could have said he did. But other than that, he was perfect. 72 yards rushing on the ground. I mean, he was using those power legs. He was using those power legs. So one guy that is definitely gonna get his flowers, or I'm giving his flowers to him, is Jalen Hurts. And I have been critical of him in the past, but there's nothing, absolutely nothing to be critical of Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl that he played. And on record right now, Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott conversations are dead. And I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. But Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott conversations are dead. Because he's been to 2 Super Bowls. He played good in the one that he lost. He played great in the one that he won. He wins in the playoffs. And I know I'm not gonna make wins and wins a quarterback stats, but say what you want to say about Jalen Hurts. And you could say he's not had a great playoff game. And I have said it before, but he, when the light was bright, a Super Bowl, he got it done. He just got it done. And it wasn't like he went against a scrub defense. That Chiefs defense was real. Another guy that I'm going to give, the flowers to, or his flowers to, is Coach Nick Sirianni. And let me get a drink before I go on that, cause that that's very big coming from me. And again, if you are an avid listener of this podcast, you know how I feel about Sirianni. I've said a lot about him. I do think he's very unique with his relations with the players and all that kind of stuff. But look at his stats. And wins and losses are coaching starts. Like their coaching starts. And Sirianni is 48 wins, 20 losses in the regular season. That's over 700. I mean, that is, I know you can say, well, that's only 68 games, but that is probably one of the best starts to a coaching career you can ask for over there. 2 trips to the Super Bowl. Has made the playoffs in the last 3 years, made a Super Bowl, made a playoff, made a Super Bowl again. And before this season, there was a lot of chat about him being on the hot seat. And apparently there was discussions in the Philly organization last offseason, before this season, about replacing him. But they didn't. And I think they made a great choice, or the right decision. And I even was one of those people that said, hey, this guy, might be on the hot seat and he might not go all the way to the season, but he went all the way to the season and won a Super Bowl. And yes, he can be annoying, even, throws his own fans, go get like this weird haircuts. You can say he's different, and sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you need is different. All you need is, something different, So I guess his difference work, or his something different works. So going back to his stats, he's 6-3 in the playoffs, and that includes a loss. That includes a loss in the playoffs, a loss last season to Tampa Bay when they kind of like fall off. Okay. So 6-3 in the playoffs over 600 is impressive. With 1 Super Bowl. Okay. Again, he has 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl trophy. I mean, that is impressive. Regardless of whatever you think of Nick Sirianni, that's impressive. So overall, he's a 700 coach. 54 wins, 23 losses. Overall, he's a 700 coach. I mean, I wouldn't quite say he's elite just because of, he's not had the amount of games, he's not had a lot of games, but still, that is 77 games total, and he's a 700 coach. 54 wins, 23 losses. I mean, you can't ask for a better stat than that. Start to a career than that, if you ask me, in my opinion. So, Nick Sirianni gets his flowers also. The next person is the guy that makes it all happen. The general manager of Philadelphia Eagles, Howie Roseman. Listen, that man is a stud. He knows what he's doing. He's serious. And he's serious about winning. Some people talk about winning, but he actually walks, the talk. Some people just talk about winning. Last offseason, the Cowboys talked about being all in. And I don't know if they forgot what all in meant, but somebody that actually was all in, that actually didn't say anything, just went in and did his work, was Howie Roseman. Listen, the guy drafted Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Carter, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, signed Saquon Barkley. I mean, well, that is also more an indictment on the Giants for letting Saquon walk, but he got it done. Signed Saquon, signed Zach Bond, who is an All-Pro this year, linebacker, traded for A.J. Brown, traded for Jahan Dotson. And I know Dotson did not have a big season when he came from, the Commanders, but if you watch the game, he had the catch that had Jalen score his rushing touchdown, the tush push. He was the one that caught that bomb and fell down on the 1 yard line and set up the tush push that Jalen Hurts scored. The first touchdown, actually, of the game. He got Kellen Moore, who was basically run out of Dallas, and brought in Vic Fangio. Listen, guys, these are all impact players. I mean, Devonta Smith had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. Quinion Mitchell, the rookie cornerbacks who started the game. Cooper DeJean, Saquon Barkley, a historic season this year. Zach Bond, all-pro linebacker. AJ Brown scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Jahan Dotson, impact player in the Super Bowl. Jalen Carter, listen, an absolute monster. And just Aaron Donald, maybe 2.0, maybe not as great as Aaron Donald, but listen, he's a handful on the D-line. So shout out to Howie Roseman and for actually walking the talk and getting it done. And you could see the Eagles are world champions, the Super Bowl champions. Everything that they set out this year for, and I think that's what they did set up. This season was to go win the Super Bowl, and they did. And clearly, you could see they were the better team on the day and in the Super Bowl. In the NFL this season. So shout out to the Eagles for getting it done. Impressive. And as a Cowboy fan, it hurts. It hurts. But I just hope like this can be a blueprint for their counterparts right here. But we will see. Now let's get into this voice over here. So I just want to, my question is the Eagles' success, an indictment on the Dallas Cowboys? Because here's the thing. The Eagles has done everything that the Cowboys have not done. And guess what the Eagles just did? Win the Super Bowl. Howie Roseman is aggressive in free agency, aggressive in the draft. But guess what? Jerry Jones is not. Oh, we like our guys and all that kind of stuff. We like how our team is. But your team is losing. Your team just went 7-10. And I know I don't want to hear anything about the quarterback being out. I don't care the quarterback was out for half of the season. Okay? But before the quarterback was out, we saw how the team was playing. So Dak today, I think they caught up to Dak either yesterday or after the Super Bowl, and they asked him about the Philly winning the Super Bowl, and he says the Cowboys are close. Sorry, Dak Prescott, I love you, but the Cowboys are not close at all. The Cowboys are not close. Cause let's start. Eagles have the best O-line in football. Guess what, Dallas Cowboys? We have problems on O-line. Okay? We have two rookies that started in our O-line this year. One was the first one draft, a left tackle. Okay? That did not pan out how everybody thought he was going to pan out. But hey, it was first year, so let's see what happened next year. It's not looking good. But you know what? I'm going to be a positive guy and say, hopefully it goes well. Zach Martin, his contract is out. The all-world, all-pro right guard. He's been hurt. He was hurt this season. Okay? I actually saw him outside, at Carbone. He was having dinner with his wife and he had on a boot and he's out. I mean, he's hurt. But, O-line, Zach Martin is hurt. Your rookie left tackle is not panning out so far as we thought he would. Tyler Smith, his contract is up next year, but Tyler Smith has been great. I think he makes second team All Pro. He was in the Pro Bowl. He's great. He's been great. Your center Cooper Beebe, we will see. He was decent. He was okay, but we will see. Your right tackle Terrence Steele from Texas Tech, who I actually like, has been a liability since he came back from his injury. This year he was average. Last year he was average. When he came back from his injury, it's not been the same since he got injured. So you have problems at O-line. So don't tell me you're close when the Eagles have the best O-line in football, and you have at least 3 question marks, or even 4 out of the 5 linemen. Okay, the only one that you could say is solid is the left guard, Tyler Smith. Now let's go to running back. Saquon Barkley was first team All Pro, All War this year. I mean, impressive. We don't have a running back. We don't. We don't have a running back. And it's sad. It's sad. Because Rico is good, but Rico is not Saquon. You have the 12th pick, so maybe you could pick up Ashton Genty, and then we see where that goes, and then we can start over there. Now let's go to skill positions. Your receiver, you have CeeDee Lamb, but you basically have CeeDee Lamb and 10 other Jalens. People that boys that are named Jalens that are not, they're okay. Look at Philly. Philly has AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Juwan Dotson, Dallas Goedert. This season, our tight end, who was supposed to be great, okay, he kind of had an okay season also. Jake Ferguson, he had an okay season. So hopefully he can bounce back, because he was on a trajectory 2023 and then kind of went this way in 2024. So hopefully he bounces back. But tight end right now, Dallas Goedert is better than Jake Ferguson right now. The Eagles have at least 2 solid receivers, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and Devontae Smith will be a first option on most teams. We just have CeeDee Lamb and nobody else, unfortunately. Now let's go to defense. Defensive line, Mazi Smith, who we picked in the first round from Michigan, has not panned out at all. This is going to be his 3rd season coming up. He's not panned out at all. The Eagles have Jalen Carter. An absolute monster and a wrecking ball. Like, he just wrecks games. So D-line, not close. Let's go to linebacker. Well, linebacker, Overshawn is hurt and is probably out for at least 10 games into next year. He might miss all next year. And we love Overshawn. But he's hurt. Okay, he's hurt. Sorry, let's go back to the D-line a little bit. I didn't forget about Micah, but Micah, is out for a contract. Are you signing him or letting him leave on the edge? Sam Williams, who was supposed to have a big year last year, got hurt in training camp. ACL out for the year. So he's coming back this following year. But you know how that goes. He's back from an ACL injury. He's not going to be himself for at least 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 games into the season. What's happening with DeMarcus Lawrence? Because his contract is up. So is he coming back or not? So you see, the Cowboys have all these questions, okay? If we go to the secondary, Bland and Diggs have played together like maybe one game. They're both all-pro cornerbacks. We have questions on safety. The Eagles got Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell. I mean, listen, it's not close. Dak, I love you, but it's not even close. Like, we have so many questions on our roster. Oh, and don't even get me into the new coach, Brian Schottenheimer. We bring in a guy that never called plays, okay, on a 7-10 team, fire the head coach, and promote the assistant coach that never called plays on a 7-10 team. Listen, Kellen Moore would have been a better option, but that's just another, So you know what? I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna wish the Cowboys all the best. They are still my team. I want us to compete, but Dak saying that we are close, it's not. It's kind of funny. We're not, unless he knows something that I don't, and I don't know what he knows that I don't. So no, the Cowboys are not close at all. Cowboys are not close. And I get it, Dak says all the right things. He's a leader of the team. He wants to, set the tone and all of that. And I get it. But my man, I'm sorry, we're not close. We are not close. Because the Eagles are running it back next year. We better pray that they get a Super Bowl hangover. Because with this roster that they got, they probably have their best roster in football. But whenever we meet them, it's always a split. Other than this year that Dak was out, for most years, when Dak plays, it's always a split. They win in Philly, we win in, we win in Dallas. So we will see. But no, it's not close at all. Dak Prescott, I don't think it's close to. It's not even close for us to even get to that. We might miss the playoffs again. And the Eagles, if they don't have a Super Bowl hangover, are probably going to go to the NFC Championship game again. And whoever they meet, 49ers, I don't know what is happening to them. So if they meet somebody that's not strong, they might go back to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. So Dak, hey, I'm glad you are trying to have some positive energy and tone, but no. And this all goes, down to Jerry Jones. And it looked, Jerry Jones is not aggressive in free agency. So we will see what happens this year. But we'll see what happens. So finally, we're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks. So we all know what has happened. Nico Harrison, the GM for Dallas Mavericks, traded away Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and there's been a lot of. We already had this conversation on the previous episode, so you can go listen to that. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but when they did, a lot of commentary out there by a lot of sports guys was, Dallas is better now. They are bigger, deeper. Gonna play aggressive defense. Great. We still need a second option for Kyrie. Kyrie is great, but Kyrie as first option kind of didn't work. So we will see what happens. Max Christie is good, but we need a solid second option. Well, AD says all the right things, absolutely professional. He was like, I understand what Mavericks fans are going through. They traded away Luka, but guess what? I'm going to try and win back the city. And guess what? When he played his first game, absolutely a monster. Crazy. And yells, I'm here now. Respect to AD. And again, this has nothing to do with AD, with the Mavericks fans being upset with ownership, and Nico Harris has nothing to do with AD. If any other player gets traded other than Luka, AD gets the word of love from Mavericks fans. But AD has a monster game, 16 rebounds, 20 plus points, and he gets hurt. So he gets hurt, they don't bring him back into the game, or he's doubtful to come back to the game. And reports are like, he tried to come back, but they wanted to be, cautious with him and all of that. And we're like, okay, cool. Well, reports came out that AD is out for about a month. So first off, you traded to win now, and the guy you traded to have him win now is hurt, and he has a history of being hurt. So that's why the Luka trade doesn't make sense, and all the reasons they've gave about him being fab, him not being committed to the team, and all of that has been BS, basically. But yesterday, yesterday as I'm recording, the Dallas Mavericks play Sacramento Kings. They lose by a buzzer, by a last minute shot. They play very well. But guess what? Daniel Gafford gets hurt and is out for a couple of weeks. Derek Lively, I believe, is also hurt and been out for a week. So basically, we're small. All our bigs are hurt right now. Okay. You trade away to win now, but you might miss the playoffs. So you might not even win at all. You might miss the playoffs. So yesterday at the game, something very interesting happened. And Patrick Dumont, which is, the family, part of the family that bought the Dallas Mavericks. And he's also the governor now, replaced Mark Cuban. And also there was news that Mark Cuban heard about the trade last minute and trying to stop it, but there was nothing he could do. I mean, he doesn't have any kind of say in the Mavericks anymore. So, it is what it is. So Patrick Dumont get booed as he gets on there. And he, you watch the video, he asks, are they booing me? Yes, they're booing you. Of course they're booing you. So everything that, has come out after the trade looks like, ownership just want to protect their money. They didn't want to pay the Supermax and all of that. And it's created some sort of distrust between ownership and fans. Because right now as a fan, it's hard for me to go spend my money on the Dallas Mavericks. Because ownership clearly does not care. They clearly does not care. So why would I go spend my money on that? That's another topic for another day. But one thing that happened at this game again was a fan was thrown out because he yelled, fire Nico. And they said, he kind of, violated the NBA code of conduct and all that kind of crap, and I get what they're trying to say, but also what happened to freedom of speech? He did not say anything that threatens anybody's life. He said, fire Nico. He can express himself. He paid his money to go to the game and he can express his feelings and thoughts. So right now the Mavericks are looking bad. One, you trade away the face of the city of Dallas, brings in AD, hurt for a month. Your bigs are hurt for a month. You're supposed to win now. You can't figure it out. You're small. Ownership getting booed as they should. And fans are getting thrown out for expressing their feelings. Like, this is just looking bad on the, Dallas Mavericks ownership and, leadership up there. And it's funny, people are already yelling for them to sell the team, and they're not even a year into owning the team. So we will see what happens with that. But the Dallas Mavericks need to figure out their crap. That's for sure. Because right now, if we miss the playoffs, Kyrie's a free agent. What happens if he don't pick up that player option this summer? Now you have a 33-year-old AD or turning 33. You have an old AD, a bunch of young guys. AD probably have a few more good years in him. You need help to win. So what happens if AD retires? Now it's a bunch of young guys. And then, if Derek Lively doesn't become the star that I think they think he's going to be a great player. But I don't know if he's going to be Luka star great. So it's just going to be an interesting few months coming up with, seeing if, the Mavericks makes the playoffs. If after that, after this season, we're just going to have to see what happens with Kyrie. If he doesn't come back, this is just going to look bad. And Kyrie has been great about this whole situation going on. But he knows. So now everybody's going to protect themselves. Nobody's going to want to die for this organization. And I feel bad, as a fan. And this is what the whole podcast is about. Fanatics Frenzy is taking things from fans' perspective. I feel bad. As a fan, I'm just watching my team goes in shambles right now, but let's pray and see what happens. I know I got heated up a little bit, but that's just the fanatic in me, and then that's just the passion in me. But I'm gonna end right here before I get in any more trouble. But I'm gonna end right here. I love you guys for always tuning in, for sure. Guys, you guys tuning in and me hearing your your opinions and your advice and all that kind of stuff gets me to sit in here and talk to you guys. I love you guys. Keep watching, keep supporting. Whatever you want to do or whatever you want to try, go ahead and try it. You got it. Like A$AP Rocky said, when is it cool to not try? Try whatever it is. Don't worry about what anybody else got to say. Just start. Okay, boys? Just start. That's what I'm going to leave you. Boys and girls, that's what I'm going to leave you with today. It's just start. Just freaking start. And you see what happened. Love you, boys and girls, again. Take care. I'm going to see you on the next episode. Enjoy.